Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
Do you want to hear a story?
I'm not letting go.
Are you ready for this?
Follow your heart.
I'm going in.
This is
Blockbuster Punch-Up. Welcome to Blockbuster Punch-Up. This is episode 18. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and I'm joined by my co-host and film enthusiast, Todd G11. You say it so well. It's almost like you're me. Oh my God.
We pre-did that. We wrote it down beforehand.
That was practice. How many hours did we work on that?
About 17, by my count.
Wow, yeah. We really should probably get some sleep. Are we recording right now?
I think... Did you...
I'm hallucinating. Is this plugged in?
Did you press record?
I think so.
Jay, we've done this like 5 times.
We have.
Come on, man.
How long have we been in this room?
What is life?
In case these mics are plugged in, and in case we are doing an episode of Blockbuster Punch-Up.
If we're broadcasting now from the hot air balloon.
Yeah, I mean...
anyone is out there listening.
Look, the mutants have to get some type of entertainment, so we're doing this for them.
That's it.
Yeah. So, guys, we're here today to talk about Iron Man 3. But why? Why did we choose...
Why?
But why? The questions we all ask ourselves each day is because, well, there's a little film coming out in about a week called Avengers Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Which will be bookending the Marvel Phase 2 line, which started with a little film called Iron Man 3, which is what we're here to talk about today.
Excellent.
And this film is interesting because when I saw this film, I left the theater being like, that was fun, it was very goofy, there was Shane Black.
Loved it.
And I texted Todd, and I was like, Todd, what did you think? Because I think we both went to the same theater, but past one another.
Yeah.
Like, you were leaving the film as I was going into a showing.
Yeah.
And, like, you had, like, a look of sadness on your face, and I was like, oh, no. And I was like, Todd, what did you think of the film? And you're like, I just didn't like it at all.
I really did not like this movie the first time I saw it when it came out. I walked into the movie and I just was thrown off. It goes back to my theory of the first 5 minutes is a thesis of the film and teaches you how to watch the movie, and you buy it at the end of that 5 or 10 minutes or not, and I just didn't.
And you were that guy in the roller coaster where they strap you and it's like 5, 4, you're like, oh, wait, no, hold on, wait, I was just kidding. I actually, I'm feeling sick.
Yeah, that is exactly kind of what I felt. And then the rest of the movie, I was just off. I was off kilter, and I didn't like it.
So, guys, before we start to get into the pros and the cons of the film, as we start each episode, is with the film's recap. So, Todd, please kick us off with that Iron Man 3 recap.
Okay. Well, it's New Year's, 1999. Y2K is in the air. Eiffel 65 on the stereo. And Tony Stark is in Switzerland for a thingy with a date, Rebecca Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know what the thingy is? Who cares?
Yeah, we don't know.
Some type of convention with Stark Industries. This is, of course, pre-Iron Man, pre-Cave, pre-Avengers, pre-Mickey Rourke and Pet Bird.
He did have a pet bird. That's
Tony
right.
turns down disabled dorky scientist played by Guy Pearce. Fast forward to 2013 post-Avengers Tony, who's spending all of his time upgrading his technology to be able to assemble and disassemble on command, suffering from PTSD from the New York situation, all affecting his relationship with Pepper. The world has a new terrorist in the form of the Mandarin, played with aplomb by the venerable Sir Ben Kingsley.
He is so great.
Gandhi himself, everyone. Pepper is approached by none other than Killian, the overeager disabled dorky scientist, who is no longer dorky, overeager, or disabled.
Yay!
He tries to sell her on his program.
His workout program?
No, his regenerative cell program called Extremis.
Ooh, you sure that's not like a workout? It sounds like a workout program.
A workout program in the 90s with Chuck Norris and one of those,
like somebody's
Nordic
like,
track kind of
it's
commercials.
like, all right, guys, let's get Extremis.
I'm Tony Little, and this is Extremis.
Tony Stark's bodyguard, Happy, is injured in one of the Mandarin's recent attacks, using Extremis soldiers as weapons. Tony threatens the Mandarin, politely invites him over to his home on national television. The Mandarin obliges and blows everything up.
Would you say that the Mandarin acted in an extremis way, Todd?
Oh! That's never gonna stop this whole episode.
It's not. It's gonna. I've got like 15 right here.
Presumed dead, Tony retreats to rural Tennessee.
Yay!
Where he nurses his confidence and technology back to health with the help of a little boy. Using MacGyver-like handmade weapons after a trip to the Home Depot, Tony infiltrates the Mandarin's lair and discovers Ben Kingsley is actually just an actor hired to play the part of a terrorist and is never heard from ever again. Tony and Rhodey buddy cop to the rescue, fighting a battle against an army of extremist soldiers with nothing but bare knuckles and Shane Black written wit. Oh, and Tony's 17 other Iron Man suits he was saving locked in his basement for the finale before exploding them to prove his love for Pepper or something.
How much money do you think he exploded in that in that
Millions.
shipyard? Millions, billions of dollars, probably?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
The man sneezes billions of
Like,
dollars.
quite literally, just imagine barrels of money just exploding in the air. It's like, is this enough? Is this enough? It's
For my
Christmas.
love? To prove my love
you just
to you?
see see kids like struggling in the cold, just watching millions of dollars explode off in the distance.
Hey, will they get a fireworks show?
Why can't we eat again? Well, Tony's got to build 40 suits and then explode them in the shipyard, dear. That's why.
Because the 99 and the 1, son.
Yeah.
Extremis Pepper kills Killian, while Rhodey saves the president. Happy wakes up to watch Downton Abbey. Tony gets the shrapnel taken out of his chest and drives away with a screwdriver and a heap of scrap metal.
All right, guys. Well, that was our recap of Iron Man 3, and that'll take us right into our punch-up.
Punch up. Come on, people. Now punch. 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 All right, work it out.
And with this Extremis video workout, you also get the Nordic track. You remember the Nordic track?
I was going for more Richard Simmons there.
Oh, really? I was going for like a Billy Blanks meets
Blanks
a Tybo football announcer. Anyways, so guys, as we always kick things off, we're going to start with the pros, the things we liked about Iron Man 3. Todd, what were some of the things you liked?
Oh, man. I mean, it's so funny. Okay, so, like, that's the thing. I didn't understand that I was watching a Shane Black movie the first time I watched the movie.
Right.
I understand that his name is on it, but I just didn't... I got off on the wrong foot with the humor in the film, and all of it just was like, oh, this is a little cutesy for me. I really enjoyed it this time around. I was laughing my ass off. It's really fun. There are great RDJ Shane Black action.
Yeah.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the sequel. Like,
Exactly. Just
tons of
insert
fun.
Iron Man into Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
And that's kind of this film.
Just tons of fun. Some of the action sequences are amazing.
Oh, yeah. The part when the Mandarin attacks Tony's home is really, really cool.
Yeah,
like,
that's a great scene.
You really feel the tension in that scene. Like, there's, like, moments where either him or Pepper are, like, just seconds away from dying, which is impressive to do with just helicopters and missiles versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
A dude who fights aliens and robots.
Iron Man's detachable and reattachable suit is really, really cool. The next generation, the Mach 47 or whatever
Yeah,
it is,
I think it was 42.
of his suit armor, and that technology is really cool. It also, Shane Black used that to a great effect with his direction.
Oh, yeah.
You could, like, we sometimes were, like, following the parts of the suit as they connected to somebody. Sometimes, you know, just the way he connected some of the dots with the action sequences, including and especially that scene where the Mandarin
Attacks
is really, really well done.
And on that note of the armor, I thought the evolution of Iron Man was really strong in this film, because previous films, Iron Man 1, we get Iron Man, that's so cool. Iron Man 2, his upgrades are really just like, I've got more lasers, and like, he invented like a new material, but it didn't really do much. If I'm not remembering that correctly, it just like made him slightly stronger. It wasn't really notable.
He had the briefcase.
Yeah, the briefcase was cool, like
Right.
the portable suit, but that was the coolest part of the film.
Right.
While this one, like, it felt like a true evolution of the suit and how he fights. Like, because before it was just one man, one suit. Now it was like detachable limbs that he could use to put on people, or he could put on himself, or put on the villain and detonate, which I thought was one of the coolest part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
And how he was like jumping between suits, pulling his arms out as they were getting cut off. Like, they were really inventive with the fighting and really kind of upgraded how Iron Man can fight, other than just fire a missile. Is he dead? Fire more missiles. Oh, he's dead now, for sure.
That made sense because post-Avengers, now you have to remember this was coming right after the Avengers. This was the first Marvel movie after Avengers, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense because there's all this like upgraded technology and like otherworldly technology, and so it's almost like Tony had to, you know, match. He had to come up with
dial it up.
That's right. He had to ramp up his efforts in the technology department. Similar to, you were talking about the evolution of Iron Man, the evolution of Tony Stark, I thought was really great in this movie. I really enjoyed this PTSD element that was a through line throughout the film.
It was great.
And also that sort of relates to and comes in contact with his relationship with Pepper.
Oh yeah, the scene when he's having that nightmare of being in New York, of going through the wormhole, of feeling like he's dying, and his suit responds and attacks Pepper in bed, and he wakes up in shock and you know, commands the suit to fall apart, and you just see him visibly shaken. You see Pepper shaken, and you can see like their relationship kind of at a tipping point.
Right.
And it's a really great, vulnerable scene for a character who, for tons of movies, for Iron Man 1, for Iron Man 2, I mean, we saw him like in danger, but we never really saw him truly shaken, like his cool kind of really broken. And this film really dipped into it, and it was really great.
A few other things that we like, you know, Ben Kingsley cast as the Mandarin / Trevor in this movie was amazing. Now,
right, there's
the
some
Mandarin
problems,
himself,
which we'll get into in
yeah.
a little bit, but you cannot deny that Ben Kingsley, when he is the Mandarin,
He's so funny.
He's dangerous.
Yeah, he's
scary.
scary,
The
yeah.
scene where he like shoots that man, even when like the president calls, that threatening scene.
It's a great scene.
It's amazing.
That
The tensions
negotiation
build,
scene's
and it
great.
really like solidifies this guy is uncompromising. This guy is terrifying.
It's a Joker-esque moment
Mm-hmm.
where he basically undercuts and emasculates the president.
So this kind of segues pretty well into some of our cons. So right away, the Mandarin. Let's talk about it. Okay. I get the big uproar about this character because the Mandarin is, notably in Iron Man mythology in the comics, he is like the big bad. He is like the Joker of Iron Man. He is like the Lex Luthor of Iron Man.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he is like the primary. Now, Iron Man doesn't have a lot of great villains, really.
His, like, rogues gallery.
Yeah, his rogues gallery is pretty weak. Most
Yeah.
of them are like business owners or guys in robot suits. But the Mandarin is notably his biggest and his biggest bad, and a lot of his big stories have been around him. Now, the reason why that's important to note is because, sure, not a lot of people know about Iron Man's mythology, but there are a lot of people that do and do care about it, and you have to pay some respect to that character.
Sure.
So when you bring the Mandarin into a movie, you should deliver him, especially in your third film with the big bad, with gravitas. And this character had a lot of gravitas.
It was there.
It was there. My example is this. If they had done Batman and the Joker ended up just being a party clown that somebody hired, and it was just like a businessman pretending somebody was Joker, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Yeah, it's a big cop-out and a letdown.
So to have this big bad character just be like a goofball, especially halfway through your film, especially when you have some really solid scenes with him, is sad. And it kind of deflates the tension in your film. And then when we flip it to being Killian later on, and he's like, aha, I'm the real villain, we're like, we don't really care that much. I'm sorry, Guy Pearce.
You're not the one that scared us earlier.
Yeah, you're not the one that shot that dude on live television and made the president look like a chump. Like, that is the villain.
Right.
And we just don't get him back.
That's part of the problem, because the Mandarin's such a great villain, and then they do this, and I'm sorry to keep calling out Shane Black, but they do this Shane Black anticlimax humor situation
Right.
where they, like, you know, whoop, nope, actually they pull a rug out from under you, and it's he's actually just an actor. That's actually really funny.
It is.
But in like another movie,
Yeah, not
where
in Iron Man 3.
where you, with, like you said, I mean, to me, the Mandarin doesn't hold the same weight as it does to like an Iron Man aficionado or like a comic book reader and all that kind of stuff. But I still felt cheated.
Yeah.
The same way that like a, you know, someone watching it is like, oh, finally getting the Mandarin in a movie and it's an actor.
Because that's the thing. You can call it a twist, but it's like when they market a movie to an audience and it ends up being completely different and you get frustrated. And this would be rightfully so, because all the marketing for this film, all of the posters, everything was like, this is the big bad. And people were quoting his things he was saying in the trailers, and they were very sinister and very well done.
And really what this all adds up to is sort of the discrepancy between the comedic take that the film wants to do, because its Chief Helmer is a comedic director that likes that, and the dramatic sort of way that the script is written. The script is written in a very dramatic way in terms of the plot.
Yeah.
The plot and the personal journey that, you know, that Tony Stark takes, and some of the elements that they're dealing with is very like serious and has a lot of gravity. And then you match it with this other tone that doesn't quite fit. And listen, we're not saying that you have to make just a comedy or just a drama. I actually prefer every single thing ever to have comedy, but but I prefer a drama to have comedy in it, except, you know, not to overshadow and make light of the drama.
Or certainly undercut it.
Or undercut it like a major thing, which is just taking your really well built up villain and then making him a clown. That's a problem. So that's the other problem that I think we had in this movie, is sort of like there's two different tones that are going on. There's like a serious tone and a comedic tone, and the twain don't meet very well.
No.
They're forced together in the movie, and that was kind of why I think a lot of people, maybe they couldn't exactly voice it in that way, but a lot of people
figure
are
out
like,
exactly what was like. Something was wrong with this. Like, sure, they didn't like the Mandarin thing, but it's true. There's other parts of it, like, I just don't know why this isn't lining up for me.
It's good, and I like that, and it's also funny, but like both of them are not communicating with one another, and that leads into the other big thing, in that there's a discrepancy between Tony Stark's internal journey as a heroic character and his external journey as a heroic character.
Yeah.
Tony Stark has this amazing storyline that we talked about earlier about the PTSD post-New York, post-Avengers. He is lost and a bit confused because he's been outmatched by technology.
Yeah.
The universe, the heavens have opened up and revealed to him that there's a vast universe there full of technology and gods and aliens and things that he could never even like dream to really achieve, and it's so far beyond the limits of human technology and knowledge that it, like, I'm sure makes him feel like infinitesimal, and you know, just breaks his brain because he's no longer at the top of the food chain, technologically speaking.
I mean, Iron Man 2 was specifically about this. That whole film was about him and his pride. It was about him saying, no, like, nobody is going to have technology like my suit for 10 more years. And even at the end, when he's fighting all these robots and stuff in Iron Man 2, he still succeeds because he makes the better suit. He makes better technology, and it's still like, see, your suits are crappy and mine are better. That's what he's always been about. But now he's seen something that he cannot fathom. He cannot get ahead of what he's seen, and it's shaken him.
And it's affecting his relationship with Pepper, because the way he chooses to deal with it is just by tinkering downstairs with his robots and his suits and making all kinds of different modifications and all this kind of stuff. I mean, at a certain point, she comes home and she's like, oh, it was Mach 4 or whatever? And he's just like, yeah, something like that. And it says like Mach
42,
Mach 42. Like, he's just been like going crazy on this. And also, that suit doesn't have Tony in it. It's an avatar. While Tony is downstairs tinkering, he sent up a suit to, what did he say, entertain her?
Yeah, entertain her. Yeah, which is a complete detachment from that relationship. Now, it's sounding like this is a pro. What we're trying to get to is this beautiful buildup they set up in the beginning doesn't really have a payoff at the end. Sure, he does leave the suits behind and goes back to Pepper, but once we get to essentially
the actual plot,
when we get to the meat of when
conflict,
he has to go and meet with the Mandarin, and then finally at the end when he blows up the suits, we got a lot of crazy stuff that doesn't resolve this conflict of PTSD within Tony.
His inner conflict is such. His outer conflict is this guy Killian with this program Extremis, which is like these, you know, super soldiers that are genetically modified to like regenerate and explode and stuff, which kind of relates. I can see like an abstract connection between like, well, they regenerate and like Tony Stark needs to regenerate his brain and his confidence and
something.
Like, you know, all that. But it really, you know, his internal struggle doesn't really match the external conflict of these people. And not that it needs to on the outside, but on the inside as a concept and as a theme, it does need to, and it does neither of those.
And Tony needs a moment where this PTSD, I feel like, has to cripple him, and he has to push through it and find a reason to push past it and win, whether that's because of Pepper, whether it's because him finding something about himself. You know, I always think of that moment in Scott Pilgrim versus the World where it's the very end and it's like,
that's right.
Why are you doing this? Are you doing it for her? And he's like, no, I'm doing this for me. And it's like,
Scott earned the power of self-respect.
And like the sword comes out. I'm like, it's a great moment because it's about a character strengthening themselves quite literally, because of course Edgar Wright's amazing, but because of him doing something for himself, him winning something for himself, not for external reasons. He has to rebuild himself first before others.
And in this, it's like, you know, he has a bunch of suits that come and like punch the bad guys in the face, and then his girlfriend kills the guy, and it's just kind of like, where did the part where we were on
turn?
this, we were on this internal journey with PTSD post Avengers with Tony Stark, and he was like sort of crippled by this, and then he never really overcame it. There's just this one moment where the kid's like,
go to Home Depot and buy some shit, and he's like, you know what, I will. And he's like, he just buys some Christmas balls and murders a bunch of guards in a Malibu house, and then is fine.
That's right. That's
And he's
exactly what happens.
After I get a little blood on my face, I get right back into the action.
And then he like repays the kid with like, thanks, here's a bunch of toys.
Yeah, and
That's not enough.
There wasn't a turn. There wasn't a moment that he switched. There wasn't like, he was almost about to lose it and like seeing Pepper or whatever it was.
That's right.
We needed something. So I think this kind of takes us a little bit into the punch-up,
That's right.
So what could have they done to help make those connections? Well, first off, Tony in this film, a lot of times, he's literally plugging electrodes into his body when we start to see the film at the top.
Yeah, right.
We see him, like, injecting these discs so that is connecting the suit to himself.
He's injecting a technology into his body.
It's not enough
Quite literally.
It's not enough that he wears it all the time, that he's surrounded by suits, that he makes a bunch of them. He's now putting Iron Man in his own body. It's more than he just has it next to his heart. He's now putting it in every inch of him, to a point that he can call it at any time. He can direct it if he needs to be. He is becoming Iron Man,
It's an
essentially.
external suit that he's now internalizing, and that is affecting his brain and his relationship.
And how you can tie this in with Extremis is essentially almost, Killian could have made the argument, this is the next step of Iron Man. Why do you need Iron Man when you can Iron Man can be in every inch of your body. Your body is the weapon. You don't need the suit anymore. You could have had a moment where Killian offers it to him, says, look at this, I've scanned your body, you've got like electrodes running all up inside of you, help me finalize this formula and you can finish Extremis and we can change the world and you can be a true Iron Man.
Which Tony would probably at least entertain because of this whole notion of he's behind on his technology.
Right, Extremis is that maybe that next step he was looking for instead of all these robots.
In order to sort of, be able to compete once the aliens come back.
And that could have been a way that you connect those two storylines, Extremis with his struggle of PTSD. Now, does Tony overcome this PTSD in a scene with Killian? Sure. Does he do it because of Pepper? Yes, but there needs to be some connection there for him to overcome it. Now, another way you could do this as well, to do an interesting flip and tie in the whole New York and everything, is integrate some of our issues with the villain and make it a little bit stronger. Like Mandarin, for example, if I'm going to give everybody a quick comic book lesson.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Strapping myself in.
here you go, ready? So the Mandarin in comic books is a character that actually gets his power from these 10 rings he wears.
Oh.
Now, in the film, they kind of, talk about the 10 rings as being these parts of an organization of his whole group that they don't really discuss in this film. It was kind of in the first. But in reality, the rings that he wears, he, I believe, pretends in the comics, as I remember them, to be magical, but what they are is they're actually alien technology. They're a crash. Yeah, see where I'm going. So a crashed alien ship, Mandarin at a younger age finds this crashed alien ship and finds these rings or this technology and harnesses the technology to gain control of these groups and these terrorist organizations to form his, big super evil villainy organization. And
That's so much better than anything I got in this movie.
And the other nod, and they tried to make nods to it in the film of having like the 10 ring thing and him wearing rings, but it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
The other nod they try to make, and comic people might have caught this, is the extremist people breathe fire. And
Yeah, where did that come from?
so
There was this moment where Guy Pearce just opened up his mouth and dragoned somebody.
Which, by the way, I feel like how you say your theory of, you have moments where you have to accept the film or not. The Shane Black moment with the blue, I'm blue moment is one of them. I think the second moment in the film is when he breathes fire at Rhodey and he's just like, you can breathe fire? That to me, I was like, I'm still in just because I know why this is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm about to explain it, but I feel like other people are like, what the hell was that? So the reason for the fire breathing is Mandarin had like a co-villain or a pet, essentially, that he would use to fight Iron Man called
Koopa.
Fing Fang Foom.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Fing Fang Foom. It's an alien space dragon.
What?
Yes. It's an alien space dragon. And it was from this same alien group that he got his technology from. So
Is that why Killian has all the dragon tattoos?
That's
on?
why Killian has the dragon tattoos. That's why he breathes fire. I have to imagine.
Is he a former dragon? From space?
I don't know. He was a original Double Dragon. That's what the backstory of Killian. He was in the Double Dragon video game, and he was like, yes, that's the training montage. That's how he went from being just a guy with a cane to being a badass. He's a Double Dragon.
Oh, they just skipped over that.
They just skipped over that montage. That would have been a great montage.
Yeah, right.
With like the blue like sweatpants and a blue headband, just like like 80s music. But anyways, so that's why they're breathing fire. That's why he's got the dragon tattoos. It was a nod to Fing Fang Foom. Does it make sense if you understand Mandarin? I read a lot of comics, and I almost barely got it. So how do you...
You can read Mandarin?
I can read Mandarin.
Wow.
So how do you integrate this into this plot now? Well, they laid it out pretty perfectly for us. They talk about Iron Man being really overwhelmed by the aliens and these gods from Avengers.
Yeah.
Why don't you just take directly Mandarin's background? And he found technology left over from the invasion from Avengers.
There you go.
He found some bodies, or, straight up Terminator 2 style. We found the old exoskeleton and we researched the technology and, building his own Cyberdyne, essentially.
Sure.
And he starts building rivaling factions and gaining power wherever he is. You don't have to do it in the Middle East or wherever.
Which is a direct assault on Tony Stark and his anxiety, but it's also direct conflict with Stark Industries and their technology.
Exactly. And now you have this rival coming up, essentially, who has, he can present himself as this great leader. He has magic. He's changing these things with his magical rings. Like, we don't know how he's doing it. And you can have a great confrontation with Tony. Now, you don't have to have Fing Fang Foom. Don't have the giant space dragon. That would just be weird. But when you have your first confrontation with Tony and Mandarin, by the way, keep him the Mandarin the home film. Don't make Trevor Slattery. Like, he's great. They keep referring to him as the master. Just keep it.
Yeah.
And the first time he meets the Mandarin should just totally own Iron Man with his technology. Yeah. But the thing that really shakes him is the blasts or the energy that he's using. He's getting these flashbacks because he knows that energy. He knows those weapons. He saw them in New York, and that's what keeps him up at night. And it almost shakens, I can't beat this. This is the thing that almost killed me before, and it's back. I told everyone I beat it. I told myself every single day that I would never see it again, that I beat them, that the aliens are coming back, but here they are. They've, like a virus, they've snuck into the world around me. They're invading my home life. They're threatening Pepper. They're threatening me. I can't get rid of them. They're these ghosts.
Somehow he survives. He retreats. He rebuilds, he tried, because this moment breaks him, right? He's he doesn't know what to do. He's freaking out. I like the kid.
Yeah.
Keep the kid.
Keep the kid.
The kid's fine. But maybe Tony goes back to Killian at this point, and now he's behind on the technology. Maybe now he's really entertaining the notion. I think maybe before Pepper's like, I don't think this is a good idea. Tony, you shouldn't do this. And then now he goes back to him and says well, maybe I should do this. Maybe this is an important thing. Maybe this is the only way I can beat this guy.
Yes.
Is through Extremis.
We not only have him get beaten by Mandarin, but now he's psychologically beaten. And he's going on hands and knees to Killian saying, maybe you were right. This is the next stage and I need to get on board.
Meanwhile, his relationship with Pepper is suffering because she does not believe that he should do any of this, and he's just turning a blind eye to his relationship with her by just going full into his technologies because he's so scared that he can't be vulnerable both physically and emotionally with her. He's having a really difficult time with her, and that is sort of rubbing, and a lot of friction against their relationship.
And it's this escalation of power, right? Pepper can't get it through his head that, you keep escalating your power, they keep escalating their power, and you're just upping and upping and upping it until you guys destroy each other.
Yeah, and he needs this. He keeps thinking that, the suit is the weapon, and it is to a certain degree, but also the man inside the suit is a genius.
Basically, you have to stop trying to be Iron Man. You have to be Tony Stark.
There you go.
You beat Mandarin not by being a bigger, better weapon. You're smarter than him. This is alien technology he's using. He doesn't understand it any better than you do.
You built a robot in a cave.
Yeah, you did this yourself. Remember who you are. You can outthink this guy. You can beat him. You don't have to have a bigger laser than him.
I think the major thing is that both Killian and the Mandarin are these people that hide behind these technologies but are just nothing without them. Absolutely nothing. Now, Killian may be a weapon that can breathe fire without him or something, but without the technologies, without the rings, the Mandarin's just a man.
Yeah.
And without the suit, is Tony just a man? Sure. But he's a man with superior intellect, superior, wit, humor, a large bank account, and most importantly, for this movie, he has Pepper behind him, who is the strongest part, and that's a moment where he is with Pepper, and he gains the confidence that he needs because he realizes that the reason that he does any of this stuff is for the love of his girlfriend.
And this dawns on Tony in his moment of getting Extremis injected or whatever it is. It's I don't need this. Like,
That's
this
right.
is stupid. And then just busts out of there and goes on, gets his mojo back, and then goes for that final fight with Mandarin.
So, like, yeah, you have this, like, great little through line of, like, Tony Stark's PTSD. Tony Stark believes that he is just the suit, and what is he without it? And he loses that confidence. That's what this movie is. Him gaining his confidence back post-Avengers.
Exactly. Realizing that Tony Stark is the best part of Iron Man.
That's right. That's right. The man under the suit is who Iron Man really is.
That completes that thesis at the end where he says, the suit was just a cocoon. I am Iron Man, not the suit itself.
That's right.
So now that just launches us into the ending. I mean, how you finish that off, you have a really cool battle, throw in a bunch of the suits that you had earlier, sure, if you want to do the house party protocol.
And then exploding them makes sense. Because he's, getting, I mean, yeah, it's still like, wasting a shit ton of money. but at the same time, like, he's showing, like, I don't need the suits.
Yeah.
If that's the through line of the story and he's, like, getting over the fact that he, like, needs to, like, he's holding on to this technology so tightly that it's, like, blinding him to, like, his confidence, his relationship and all this kind of stuff. Here he is hugging his girl, exploding these suits all over the place. That's a great ending to an arc that is underneath some of the things that happen in the existing film, but is really just not there for the whole one. But in this version of it, that's a great ending for it.
Oh, yeah. And look, now with Mandarin having these cool rings, you'll have a much cooler fight. You can have, like, really cool powers and a really bombastic finale for your third film and your awesome villain. And I think you still kill the Mandarin the way they should have killed Killian in this film, where he throws the suit on him, and much like him blowing up his suits, the way he kills the villain is giving up the suit, detonating the suit, getting rid of it on the Mandarin. He doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, and that's like your ending of your movie. You get this great, personal journey that Tony Stark is taking that connects with the external conflict of technologies that are aiding the man, but it's really the man inside that he needs to understand is the true strength of his identity is, and that is what draws Pepper to him in the first place, and that's what eventually gets her back.
Yeah, all right, guys. So that was our punch-up of Iron Man 3, so that'll be taking us right into our smash-up.
Smash, 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 smash,
Smash, smash, smash, All right, guys, this is Blockbuster Smash-Up. This is where Todd and I take two separate films, one globally accepted good film and one globally accepted bad film, and smash them together so all of you can remember it for all time. I, for this episode, have the globally accepted bad film, and Todd has the globally accepted good film.
I got a good one for you today.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, if you're ready, Todd, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready, Jay.
Mysterious stranger in the corner, are you ready? All right. Here we go on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. The Happening.
Rocketeer.
I don't want the Rocketeer anywhere near that film.
Oh, but we have to now.
Oh, we have to.
Doug, we've made this
We
bed.
made a blood pact to this mysterious stranger in the corner to do this. Yes, we know. We see it. Anyways, so
we've made this bed, and now we must
have to live in it,
tear
sleep in it.
apart.
What do you do in a bed again?
You sleep in it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh my god, all these years. Anyways.
So you chose The Happening.
Yes, I did. The Happening, for anyone who doesn't remember it or hasn't seen it, it's a
Or
M. Night
chose to forget
it forever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm dredging up old memories.
Oy.
It was the M. Night Shyamalan film that
Shyamalan.
when it was coming out, everybody was like super excited because it looked really chilling and scary. It is essentially boils down to this. The Earth gets kind of mad at us and makes us kill ourselves through the wind. That is the premise of The Happening.
Which is funny because I actually kind of like that premise in a
I
way.
like the premise
like
too.
the plant pheromone situation.
The problem is when you go beyond about 10 to 15 minutes of that concept, it
Yeah.
doesn't make a whole movie.
Well, yeah, and just the killing of people themselves is just sort of like super extreme, coupled with an unfortunately used Mark Wahlberg and
Yeah.
an unfortunately used Zooey Deschanel in roles that they should not have taken or played.
And how he shoots some of the scenes with Mark Wahlberg, it's almost like a joke. Like he shoots him in the same framing multiple times, him responding confused to things throughout the film, being
Like to
like,
plants.
what? no. And they're like, why did the train stop? It's like, we've lost track with people. It's like, what? And then like him in like the old lady's house, it's like, don't come in here. And I think he says like, rape me or something in the film. And it's like, I wouldn't do that. And like he has the same response to like
It's like
almost
the
all
Mark
of the
Wahlberg
things
talks
that
to
happen.
animals sketch.
Exactly.
It feels just like that.
Just like that through the whole
Yeah.
film, and it's just very, very dumb. And there's a scene where they run from wind, guys. It's just outrageous.
Running from wind.
from wind. But
I chose
The Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer, which is, by all accounts, not the greatest movie of all time, but everyone remembers it as the greatest movie of all time because it's so much fun. The concept of this movie is thus. Cliff Secord is a pilot getting ready for the Nationals. Alan Arkin is this amazing, inventor or whatever. It's set in like the 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
A Tommy gun wielding fight goes through the airport and basically lands these two heroes, our Cliff Secord and the Alan Arkin character, with a rocket pack that was stolen from Howard Hughes, of all people,
Yep.
with the help of like an Al Capone kind of guy and his henchmen who are working for an Errol Flynn kind of actor, swashbuckling sort of, adventure actor named Neville Sinclair.
who happens to be
A Nazi working for Hitler who's trying to steal Howard Hughes's rocket pack technology in order to launch an assault of rocket men across America and abroad and the world. A movie full of amazing, amazing stuff. And Timothy Dalton's in it. Jennifer Connelly is in it.
young Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Alan Arkin, and I forget the name of the guy who plays Cliff Secord
Yeah,
because he's not really that popular.
He was in The Killing.
Oh, yeah, that's that same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's Cliff Secord older.
Holy moly, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blowing your mind right now. You've
He's
been
the-
watching The Rocketeer for years.
He's the politician.
Yeah, he's the politician.
Wow, okay.
So how do we smash these two films together? We got The Rocketeer and we've got The Happening.
Okay. It has to be, the setting has to remain because the 40s is like the best setting ever.
Of course,
okay?
the 40s is awesome. Why would we leave it?
Hitler is in...
If you can see Todd's hands
I'm
right now,
trying.
he's making like a jazz hand, like, come on,
I'm
just
trying
put this
to
in
like
here.
pull this out of, just so much ass.
So it's the 40s.
It's
Hitler
the
is
40s.
trying to...
Hitler is trying... It basically is trying to take over the world. And in order to try and do this, he has realized that maybe he could harness the power
of the plants.
of the plants. But it's not what he thought it was. It actually is like some type of life fuel
Yeah.
that he then puts to work and tries to find a contraption that can harness this life fuel.
To turn it into rocket fuel? Wow.
Enter Howard Hughes.
Let's do this.
Nazi spies work for Howard Hughes.
Yep.
And TWA.
And try to steal his rocket design.
That's right.
To harness this evil plant juice.
That's
life
right.
force,
Which is rocket fuel for the rockets.
Which, as we all know, life essence fuel is the best rocket fuel.
It's the best rocket fuel.
God.
And Howard Hughes has been trying to solve this problem of like what do you power this thing with? Meanwhile, Hitler over here, doing seances and shit. He's harness the power of nature.
He's talking to a giant plant monster under the earth, like, I've come to you, great king of the plants. It's like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yes, I wish to harness your essence to take over America. And it's like, blah, 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 blah.
So he milks the giant
plant
nature monster.
Yeah, of course. Look, if you're gonna lean into this, you lean into it all the way. A shot of Hitler talking to a giant monster plant is everything I want in a Rocketeer
Eventually,
film.
the rocket gets the juice in it, right?
Of course.
Somehow ends up with Cliff Secord and the Alan Arkin character at the airport.
And we can have the plant is double crossing everybody to kill everybody with the wind. The wind's trying to kill us.
Maybe it's like Audrey
Is
too.
Mark Wahlberg Cliff Secord?
Yes, Mark Wahlberg plays Cliff Secord, and he's like, what do you think it is? I think it's a rocket.
I think it's a rocket, right?
They could call me the Rocketeer. Zooey Deschanel is in the movie. She sings throughout most of it.
Of course.
With a ukulele?
Of course. That was a classic 1940s instrument, I believe. You saw that in most of those beautiful gown scenes. Someone's upstairs with that old style mic and the ukulele.
That's
how
right.
they did it.
Who's John Leguizamo?
John Leguizamo is Howard Hughes.
Okay.
Yes. This works flawlessly, I promise you.
Hey, he was Toulouse-Lautrec, now he's Howard Hughes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so John
I get it.
Leguizamo's Howard Hughes, Mark
right.
Wahlberg, Zooey Deschanel, and
Timothy Dalton plays Hitler.
plays Hitler, of course.
Holy moly! Just shave that little mustache a little bit. The pencil.
This is a perfect film. It cannot fail.
Oh, it can.
The final scene has to be the plant double crosses.
And the plant is like Audrey 2 Returns,
It's like an Audrey 2,
right?
yes.
It's like
Look,
it's the sequel.
Let's bring in all the great films.
It's
Little
the
Shop of
sequel
Horrors
to
is in
Little
here.
Shop.
Yeah.
This is Audrey 2, who has gone underground, quite literally.
And it's a Nazi Audrey too. So it's like a German. It speaks with like a German accent. It's like "What are you?" I don't know what.
me Seymour. Feeds me all night long.
So the final battle has to be Audrey 2 is in the Zeppelin, in the blimp.
That's right, he's driving a Zeppelin.
And Audrey 2 is going to spray the gas all over the world to make everybody kill themselves.
Yes,
And-
or just adhere to the Nazi
or
party.
adhere to the Nazi
Don't
party.
adhere to the plant Nazi
Whichever
party.
one. And the Rocketeer has to show up, blows up the blimp, kills evil Nazi Audrey 2
With
and
a
Timothy
taste of his
Dalton.
own medicine.
Oh
he
yeah,
says.
with dun, dun, dun. And then we save the day. So what is I will argue the best film we've ever come up with?
The Happening a Tear.
The Happening at
Or The Rocketing.
the rock. No, that's definitely better. The Rocketing.
The Rocketing.
All right, well, that was our smash up, and that concludes episode 18 of Blockbuster Punch Up and our review of Iron Man 3. We'll be posting a new episode every other week. Please leave us a review on iTunes or any comments. It really helps people find the show. And if you'd like to download more episodes or check out other similar podcasts, head over to partialarc.com. That's arc with a C. Of course, you can email us any questions at blockbusterpunchup@gmail.com or let us know what other punch-ups you may have had. We'd love to hear them. Also, this coming weekend, we just talked about Iron Man 3. Partial Arc is actually doing a Phase 2 Marvel movie marathon this weekend, this Saturday, May 2nd, right before going into the Avengers Age of Ultron. So if you guys would like to rewatch Iron Man 3 and relive this experience before going in, please join us. We'll be live tweeting on Twitter. Of course,
great.
you can follow us at Partial Arc on Twitter or Instagram.
Am I invited?
You are, Todd.
Oh, great.
You're there.
Oh.
You're already there, Todd.
I'm already there?
You're already there.
Are we here?
We're here now. Guys. And of course, you can follow Todd on Twitter and Instagram at TG11. Of course, he'll be there live tweeting with us. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode of Blockbuster Punch Up.
Let's go home.